Hello, financial fans. I'll talk about some stocks we can consider for the future. The future might be looking brighter. We don't know until all the numbers fall into place, but we've seen a lot of downward movement of the market in the past 6 months or so, and in the past week the market has dared to poke its nose up above the horizon, and it looks better than it did. We'll take a look at 4 stocks. 3 of them have symbols starting with the letter F, and I think that's just a coincidence, but we're going to begin the look at stocks to consider by looking at Ford Motor Company, symbol F. And Ford Motor Company, the column on the left, 2/3 of the way down, 52-week range, $12.07 was the low, $25, about double what the low was, $25.87 was the high. Currently, $13.66 after hours, and that is near the low, so maybe this is a chance to buy Ford low and hold on to it. And it was up almost 4% during the trading on Friday, and it has been going up a tiny bit after hours. The average volume, almost all the way to the bottom of the column on the left, the average volume, 69,375,000 shares trade every day. And the people who crunch the numbers consider that Ford Motor Company right now is undervalued. I would agree. The PE ratio, third item down, middle column, PE ratio, 4.75. That is a very, very low PE ratio, and a low PE ratio is good for the investor as a rule. Forward dividend and yield, it's about 3% dividend while you're holding on to the stock. Not enough to keep up with today's inflation numbers, but it is a good dividend payment. We'll look at the bottom of that middle column, 1-year target estimate, $17.99, maybe even $18. I think that looks like an easy target for Ford. Now we'll look at the next stock, Meta Platforms, which has the symbol FB for Facebook. And after hours, it is also up $195.22 is the price after hours per share. And we'll look at the 52-week range. $169 was the low, and $384 was the high. So it's closer to the low right now than it is to the high, but again, we might be getting in low on a really good company, Facebook, which still looks like a growth stock possibility. The average volume, 32,695,000 shares trade every day. The PE ratio for a big company like Facebook or Meta Platforms, the PE ratio is not too high, 14.77. And look at the 1-year target at the bottom of that middle column, about $300. Going from about $200 up to about $300, that would be a nice move in 1 year's time. Look next at FCX, FreeportMcMoran Copper and Gold, which is now, I guess, just FreeportMcMoran Incorporated. FCX is the symbol, and it was up during trading on Friday also, and even more after hours. I wouldn't invest more than 5% of my holdings, my portfolio, in any one stock that is a gold or silver speculation, but 5% couldn't hurt to have something in gold these days with so much uncertainty. We look at the column on the left 52-week range, 2/3 of the way down, 52-week range, $30 was the low and $51.99 was the high, so it's been swinging pretty wildly, which we will see in the beta when we get into the next column. The average volume, 18 million shares trade every day, and this stock is considered to be overvalued by the people who analyze these rather carefully. So they do expect this to go down before it goes up again, but in that middle column, second item down, the beta of the stock, it swings up and down about twice as much as the average movement of the stock market, the S&P 500. The PE ratio, 11.47, not bad at all. It's not too high. The average PE ratio for all the stocks is probably somewhere between 20 and 25, so 11.47 is good. The forward dividend and yield, 1.5%, not very much at all. And the 1-year target, $49.48. It's been there before, so it could get there again, and that would be a nice move upward. This could be a growth stock, we shall see. Finally, we look at Intel, INTC. I have recommended this stock many times, and I have owned the stock many times, and I have made money on this stock. Sometimes I have to hold it longer than other times, but at $44.61, it looks like a pretty good bargain. We'll look at the 52-week range. $40 was the low for Intel, and $58 was the high. $58 is where this was, so it's got a lot of headroom. It could be moving in an upward direction if everything calms down and bad news ceases to be a daily thing. Average volume, 35 million shares trade every day of Intel, INTC, and this is considered to be near fair value. And we look in the middle column, PE ratio 7.4. That is good. That's less than 10. I like a PE ratio under 10. And the forward dividend yield is not bad. 3.28% is the yield. And that might not keep up with all the inflation that's going to be going on, but it certainly doesn't hurt anything. So we look at the bottom of that column, the middle column, 1-year target, $51.90. That'd be a nice move upwards. I thank you very much for watching.